Hey, what's up? What's going on? Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please like the video. It'll be greatly appreciated. It's Mary Jane. So what's going on, peeps? What's going on? We're going to do a review about Gifted. The movie came out in 2017. It's rated PG. I believe it came out April 12th of 2017. I'm not really positive about that. But basically, it's rated PG. It's about a single guy named Frank. He's raising his child prodigy niece, basically, and he is drawn into a custody battle with his mother, basically, to raise his niece that's a child prodigy, basically. So basically, the grandmother, the mother, basically, she wants custody of her granddaughter, basically, which is Mary Andler, basically is the granddaughter. So basically, Mary Andler's mother committed suicide because she was under a lot of pressure, a lot of stress from her mom, reinforcing education. You know, she really didn't have a life. She really didn't have love. She really didn't have a lot of understanding of things because basically her mind was basically focused on learn. And basically, she didn't have a childhood. Basically, her childhood was, being tested, solving equations, facts, and theories, basically, which her mom did when she was a child, but she moved to the United States and she became a mother. Her grandfather was also like a prodigy as well. And Frank Adler, he's a prodigy as well. He was a professor, I think Boston University, one of the universities in Boston, Massachusetts, basically. So anyways, the mom of the child prodigy, which is Mary Adler, the mom committed suicide, but basically she went to go see her brother, which is Frank Adler, and she wanted to talk to him because she was having some questions and she wanted to talk to somebody, basically, and she came with her daughter. But basically Frank was too busy at the time and he wanted to get some punani. So he bounced to go on his date. When he got back home, he was going to talk to his sister, but she had committed suicide, basically. And so he was left raising the niece. Well, he took the niece and he bounced with the niece to another estate, basically, because he believed that his sister didn't want the grandmother to raise his niece because she wasn't gonna have a childhood, basically. And the mom of Mary Adler wanted her daughter to have a childhood, wanted her to have friends, wanted her to enjoy the smaller things in life compared to someone that's a child genius, basically. So Frank is raising his niece. He's off the grid. He disappears. He's not a professor anymore. He's working on boats and repairing boats, and at the same time he's raising his niece. He's having a hard time raising his niece because she is brilliant. She might actually be smarter than her own mother, basically. So anyways, he lives in like this I would say trailer park, basically, and they have a landlord and a landlady. Her name is Bonnie, and basically she's Octavia Spencer, basically, and she's in love with Mary. She loves Mary. Mary is like her daughter, basically. Her and Mary spend a lot of time together. Mary is she doesn't have any friends like of her age, basically. And basically, like, she reads so many different books that adults can't read, and she can solve math problems that adults cannot solve, basically. And she's a child prodigy. She reads books that people can't read today, basically. And so, Frank is like, okay, he has been homeschooling her, but now he's like, okay, it's time for her to go to school. So she goes to school, and then, the teachers discover that she's a genius and she's really smart. And basically, Mary gets into a fight and she's almost expelled, basically. And Mary has a cat that she loves the most, and the cat has one eye, basically. And Mary doesn't really understand how to be around kids and have friendship with kids because she's been homeschooled, and she's such a genius that she knows so much. So the little things that kids do, like 1 + 1, 2 + 2 in the classroom, Mary already knew how to do it. And then she doesn't like bullies as well. She understands so much that it's just ridiculous, basically. So she gets into a fight with a 12-year-old boy that's probably in the 7th grade, I believe, because he picked on someone that was in Mary's class. Mary assaulted the kid with a book, and then the school was going to expel Mary. And then it was like, but we can send her to one of these Ivy League schools basically for gifted children. And Frank Adler's like, no, I don't want that to happen, basically, because Frank ends up having a relationship with Mary's teacher, basically, and everything like that. But the neighbor Bonnie, she didn't want Mary to go to school because she realized if Mary goes to school that she's probably going to get taken away from Frank because of their living condition. Plus, Frank comes from a wealthy family, and Frank's mom is very wealthy and really, really wealthy, basically. And so basically the grandmother's been searching for her granddaughter for years, but she found the granddaughter because the school started to do an investigation on Frank Adler and Mary Adler, basically, and they found out, her mom committed suicide and she has a grandmother. So basically they contact the grandmother, and the grandmother wants to come and get Mary, basically. She wants to take Mary away. And basically, it's a custody battle, and you can look at it so many different ways, but you can understand that, Frank is doing this for his sister and doing it because of what he saw as a child growing up, how his mom was basically books, focus, go to this university, go to that university, solve this equation, deal with these scientists, deal with these people, basically what she did to him and his sister, basically, which drove his sister crazy, and one of the reasons why she committed suicide. So basically her sister was working on this problem that no one has answered yet, and it was like a profound, prestigious type of question to answer. Basically, it's like a life question, and if you can solve this, you're going to be in the museum, or you're going to be in every college, Ivy League college, on the wall, basically, like Einstein, basically. But she did actually solve it, but she didn't want her mother to reap any benefits of her solving this problem. So she gave it to her brother Frank to hold on to it, and he held on to it in a safe deposit box, basically. But so his sister actually was the all-time genius, and she solved the equation. So she's going to be study and live on forever and ever and ever. But the grandmother doesn't know this. So the grandmother finally comes down to, I believe they live in Florida, and she's allergic to the cat. She doesn't like the roaches. She doesn't like the living environment because she's wealthy. She's upper class. She's the upper echelon of society, basically. And not only that, she is very educated and very smart. And she was a prodigy herself, but she ended up, just raising kids and raising her kids to be prodigies, basically. So now they're having a custody battle, back and forth. The courts get involved. Then you have a lawyer. His name is Gene Plummer, I believe. And he is Frank Adler's attorney. Basically, he does a wonderful job. But, the mom has so much money that she can pay everybody off. And so basically it's just a battle for you to see which side is good. Is it the side of her going with her uncle, basically, to live a normal life, but also be educated as well, but actually force her to be a child and to enjoy her childhood, which his sister didn't do and which he didn't do, which ultimately made his sister commit suicide? Or go with the grandmother, where she can embrace her gifts, she can elevate her gifts, basically, and she can elevate her mind even more and develop it even more, where she can become a scientist, all types of things that she can dissect and invent for the world to cure different types of things, basically. And plus she will have all the best education, school, tutorers. She'll be able to play all the instruments that she wants, especially a piano, because Mary loves the piano. But basically nothing will be focused on her as being a child, basically. But one thing I like to look into is that, at least with Frank and Mary, she's gonna develop, basically. And he teaches her a lot because he's smart as well. But I think Mary's smarter than him. But she can actually have both worlds. But basically she'll be living not in the greatest living conditions, but they're not terrible living conditions as well. And she would be able to be focused on being a child as well. So if she wanted to, so she has the brain, she has the knowledge, she has the brain and the knowledge that when she gets older, she's gifted basically, so she can go into any career, she can go into anything. There's going to be people that's going to invest in her, give her money to do research, solve equations, all types of stuff. That so it's not like she would be impoverished and be dumb, but she will be kind of a little bit impoverished, but she will have the mind to elevate to be whatever she wanted to be as well. But she will also have the chance of being a child. So it's like whenever, if she wanted to make a choice to go live the good life, the rich life, and develop more of herself, of her brain, basically, she has that opportunity. But with her uncle, she has the opportunity of developing her brain too as well. But it's gonna cost, it's not gonna be as quickly as it would be if she was with her grandmother, basically. But she would also have a childhood, and that's one thing that, you know, the grandmother doesn't think about. She just think about what you can do, what you can become, how you can, you know, change the world, basically. And she can do this with her uncle as well, and have a childhood and have a normal state of mind, which her mother did not have, because she was controlled 24/7, 7 days a week. She couldn't have a life. She couldn't hang out with kids. She couldn't have a boyfriend. Even her mother ran away at one point. So basically, that's what the movie is really about. And it's like, you know, how the grandmother is just really stuck on what you can become, how prestigious, how profound you can be in the community of intelligent and intellectual people, basically. And which it helps the grandmother and her ego, because basically she couldn't live her dream because she had to raise kids, basically. So basically that's what the movie really focused on. There's a little bits of funny pieces in the beginning of the movie about, you know, Mary going to school and dealing with that, and then her talking to the psychiatrist, basically, because the psychiatrist is ordered by the court to see whether Mary is in a good stable home with Frank, or would she be better with her grandparents. So basically that's what the movie is really about. And then they have little storms that come back and forth. And Frank Adler has struggles, because and sometimes he feels like he's being the great uncle, he's being the great provider, and then the other times he feels like he's not. He feels like he can't do it. But basically that's the struggle that most parents have as well. And plus he's also living with, you know, his sister committed suicide, and if he would have stayed home and not chased this woman, she would still be here today, basically. And also Mary, her father is not involved in her life, but when they go into court proceedings, the grandparent brings him back and pays him off. She pays everybody off. And basically they come to Frank's lawyer and the mom and the grandmother's lawyer, basically make an agreement where Mary Adler will stay with like a foster family, and then when she turns 12 years old, she can decide whether she wants to go with her grandmother or she wants to go with her uncle, basically. So the lawyer is convincing Frank to do this, basically, to take the deal. So Frank takes it, and it hurts so much for him because he promised Mary that he would never let her go, he won't give up, and he'll fight to the end. And he didn't, because he got scared, he had fear, he kind of felt like he was inadequate. And basically they brought up his past when he got into a fight with somebody or whatever, and he watched wrestling or UFC with his niece. So basically Mary goes with these parents, whatever, these parents, and she goes and she stays with them for a while. And then they kind of like block Frank for coming to see her, because basically Frank is able to see her maybe once a month, basically on the weekends, and he get to take her home. When he gets there, the people say, no, you know, Mary doesn't want to see you, blah blah blah, and all this other stuff. But basically it's the grandmother, she picked the adoptive parents, basically, the court-assigned parents. She picked them. So the whole time that Mary is with these court-ordered guardians, basically, she's being schooled by the grandmother. The grandmother's living in the guest house, basically. And she has teams of doctors, scientists, and people to work with Mary. And Mary doesn't see her Uncle Frank at all. She thinking that he has abandoned her, and which he didn't. And so then, you know, Frank gets involved with Mary's teacher, and Mary's teacher's at the library or somewhere, and she sees the cat with one eye, and she knows that's Mary's cat. And Mary loved that cat because Mary, for show and tell, when she was in regular school, she brought the cat you know. And so Frank wouldn't answer his phone when the teacher was calling Frank, so she just took a picture and sent it to him. So then that's when Frank realized, okay, my mom has control of Mary. They're getting rid of the cat because the grandmother is allergic to the cat, basically. So there's like some funny parts into it. There's like some sad parts into it. And basically, it is a kid friendly movie, but only if the kid understands, you know, poverty, the upper echelon of life, education, smart people, normal people, dumb people, average people, poor people, and understand, like, you know, sometimes understand suicide and committing suicide, and people that lie, and how sometimes life is not fair, even if you have everything and plus a great mind. So check it out. It was a nice watch for me. It was just something that I like to watch, different type of dramas and different types of movies. I have a wide range of categories of things that I like to watch, even, or just like to see what happens, or is it interesting. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I'll probably give it a 4.5. But if you love dramas like this, it's probably an 8. And if you love like sequence, it's a little bit of mystery, if you love to see the good guy win at the end, this is one of the movies basically. So anyways, hit me up, check me out, Mary Jane. Peace.